is on.
Greetings and welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I will be your host this evening. Here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about flying model airplanes, we talk about sport flying, competition flying. We're interested in what you did in your shop lately or what have you done at the flying field. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. If you are not a member, please register at stunthangar.com. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthanger will not approve you. If you are inclined to not come in and just want to enjoy the conversation and enjoy watching us on YouTube, that's fine. That's great. You can still be part of the show by posting your questions and comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments part of the show. And be patient. Sometimes we get going, and I can't even get a word in edgewise, so we might have actually left the topic that you're referring to, but I will post it anyways and let the guys know what you're saying. Now, if you like the Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts or the many video building videos that Sparky does, which are amazing, he has 50 years experience. Please like and subscribe and share these videos. That helps the channel grow. And let me see here. Also, please consider joining our YouTube memberships. They start at $4.99 a month. That's less than 17 cents a day. And it's a great opportunity, great deal. I mean, you'll get special badges. I'm referring to the badges on the YouTube side. And you also get access and unlimited replays to these special members only videos that Sparky has posted on the YouTube channel. Also, once a month, Sparky does an question and answer period where you can ask him questions about building, finishing, flying, anything to do with model airplanes. He would be one of the experts I would ask myself personally. Now, you also can make donations. Matter of fact, the super chat is located right underneath the chat box, and you can make your donation there. And I'd like to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, don't say anything you wouldn't say around your children or grandchildren. I'm getting ready to post the chat right now. Let me post that. All right. So hopefully I'm going to have some company. I will have some friends join me, and I'd love to have some new guests. If you've been thinking about coming in, please do. It always adds a lift to the show, and it's nothing like new blood, as I like to say. And let me get the chat box popped out so I can keep an eye on that. Matter of fact, they're already there. Charlie Williams says, "Good evening." Hi, Charlie. That's a good name, by the way, but I go by Charles, not Charlie, but still appreciate Charlie. And then the other person is the T-Bone 1260, Tom Luciano, checking in. Hey, Tom, good to see you, man. It was great meeting you at the Nats a year or so ago. And hope all is well, Charles, and it is. Thank you. Um, I was going to go flying this weekend or this week, but the state of California has really locked us down. They really insisted we stay home and be safe. So I didn't go out flying this week at all. So hopefully this will go away in a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, I'm actually working on an airplane that was given to me. It's an impact, and I put let me bring up the what happened to the 8x8. Hang on a second. Uh, oh, it's still there. Okay, great. Hey, Peter. I thought I lost the 8x8, but you're still here. Good. So I was just telling them, Peter, about what I've been working on, and so I'll continue. So I'm working on this impact, which is the Paul Walker design. Um, and I have a K77 on a tuned pipe installed on it. And I'm looking forward to flying it because my future plane, which is I'm calling Precious balsa, which is a modified Strega, is going to have that same K77 and tune pipe in it. So I'm really excited about getting this power system squared away, and in the future, actually take it out of the impact, except for the fuel tank, and move it all over to the new plane. Hopefully, I'll have the prop dialed in and the RPMs and everything else dialed in. So I'm pretty excited about that because it's kind of more my future. I do have a Chipmunk that I've been flying, and that has a OS Max 35S, and that's a real nice plane because it's extremely light. I don't know. I haven't weighed it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is no more than 35 ounces. It might even be less than that. It's a light plane, and that's showing some promise. So, anyways, that's enough about me. Peter, what's going on with you, Peter? I don't hear you, buddy.
I have to turn on the microphone. Yeah. I've been progressing on the Saginaw kit.
Oh, great! I know John will be excited to hear that.
I've started to put together all of the different blocks for the wingtips. I have to laminate the blocks for the wingtips, so these end up on each side. It's a lot of balsa, right? You end up with that much on each side, and then you have this cutout here. I guess they give you this as a guide to how to hollow out the tips. But then you laminate this piece in, you stack that right on here.
Right.
And then you turn around and you take this another monstrosity and you stack it up on here. So I'm gonna end up with this, and that's ultimately what I gotta hollow out and sand to shape once I'm trying to determine whether I want to put them on the wings before I sand them, get the majority of the sanding on them, or do I want to give them some sort of shape and then put them on the wings? I haven't come to that conclusion yet. But what I've done is I started out building the whole model using CA glue, and then I was thinking, well, CA is not necessarily the best glue if you got to laminate blocks like this together, big pieces of balsa wood.
That's a good point.
So I switched to using Type Bond to laminate these pieces together, because I've always had good luck with Type Bond, and it's easy to and as opposed to CA, it doesn't necessarily all just suck into the wood grain and just kind of disappear. So I just, put on a thin film of it on the surface and then clamp them together and let it dry. And that seems to work. That sort of, Type Bond or that type of glue seems to work out better when you have to laminate a bunch of thick blocks together. Now, so it takes longer to dry, but it's not that much longer. I mean, you let it sit overnight and then it's solid, and then you can sand it easier. So that's what I've been basically getting. At this point, I have to join the two wing halves together and then just do the sheeting on it. And once that's done, then these go on. So what I've been doing is I've just been getting these little sub-assemblies at this point all ready to go on. And once I have the wings joined, I mean, the fuselage is all sanded to shape already. So I'm just getting all the bits and pieces, the sub bits and pieces all together. And then so when it's ready to assemble, all I have to do is, hit the wingtips, glue these on, sand, glue the wing to the fuselage, sand, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm sure John really excited to hear about the progress.
I just got here, so I don't know what the progress is.
No. I was telling Charles that on the Spirit of Saginaw, I'm putting all the subcomponents together at this point. Like these are the wingtips. I mean, the wingtips basically they give you a bunch of I don't even know what is it, 3/8 inch balsa, and you're supposed to laminate them. The shapes. Laminate all these together. There's 2 here, and there's the other 2 here, which makes 4, and then there's this little separator that goes in the middle.
Yeah.
And then I goes telling Charles, I'm assembling these. So
You know why
now,
they had to do that?
ultimately, I end up with something like this that I got that you have to carve into shape, carve in the sand into shape, and then stick on either wingtip.
You know why they had to do that, don't you?
Well, it's probably because thicker balsa is harder to find. I don't know.
No, thicker balsa is harder to cut with a laser.
Ah.
and the laser beam actually starts to wander.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why. And one piece of advice I'll give you as you get when you well, no, never mind.
No, I mean this is basically really actually nothing really new to me. This type of laminating balsa blocks together to do wingtips or cowls or around the nose ring and stuff like that. It's been around forever. So
right,
it's not. This is nothing new.
You should have seen what I had to do for the cardinal wingtip.
Oh, just about everything. I believe the same thing goes true for the Sig Magnum. Just about, other than airplanes that I built that had built up wingtips, where you had the flat piece of balsa and then you had the almost stringers or formers attaching out to the wingtip.
Yeah.
Anything other than that has always been some form of that, some form of this.
Yeah.
Have either one of you guys ever done any molding on wingtips? I've seen an article by John Callentine maybe a year or so ago on Stunt News, where he went through how to mold wingtips.
Oh yeah, you can do that too, but then still you have to make a form. It's nice, but I was always comfortable with laminating and hollowing out wingtips. I've never had a real aversion, unless some people just hate carving and using the Dremel tool to hollow out stuff, and they're maybe not skilled so much, they end up sanding or hollowing through the other side, making it too thin, and then end up breaking out the other side. I've never had that phobia. I've always been able to manage that. Molding wingtips is great because then you can use a very, very thin balsa to create the same shape, but the amount of labor, it's very labor intensive. You have to make a mold, and then once you finish with the mold, which is basically by the time you finish with the mold, you can take that mold, cut it in half, hollow it out, and glue that on as the wingtip. So
yeah, if when you're doing only one off, just doing one of the it's faster, a lot faster to just laminate or carve out your wingtip. If you're going to build 5 or 6 or 10 or run a kit line, then molding them is a good way to go.
Yeah, it makes sense. Hey, let me shout out to Greg Nielsen. Hey, Greg, evening to you. And he says evening to us. So thanks for coming in, Greg. Any of you on the chat? Any of you on the chat ever done the molding of wingtips?
I thought Train was going to do something on molding tonight. I think he posted that in the
Yeah, I think so too. Top blocks. Hey, while we're waiting for that, I've been emptying boxes. I've been bringing them up to the basement.
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun emptying them than it is to pack them up in the first place.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm bringing up these boxes, from stuff that was for my shop and my model airplane stuff, and I found some canopy molds that I'd made for molding with a soda bottle and a heat gun, and that was nice to find because I didn't want to lose those. I put a lot of work into them, and I found there's another thing. Anyway, I found something else that meant a lot to me, and so I've been having fun kind of going through that. That's what I did in my shop today.
Oh, very good.
What I found ultimately is that if you move more than once, and you move into a new place and you start unpacking boxes, you may end up unpacking a box that you never got around to unpacking the last time you moved in. It's like, I've been looking for that forever. Where now? It's so great. I found it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I found some tools that I thought I'd lost.
Oh, good.
It's just been fun And I got to go through my email. I'm getting so much email. I don't know how, because I haven't been. It's mostly business type email.
Oh, okay.
And I don't ever remember signing up for any of it. And I've got
cookies.
I'll get rid of about 100 emails first thing in the morning, and by noon I got another 100 more.
You know what you have to do instead of getting rid of them, John, is at the bottom of just about every
I know, that's what I meant.
in a fine print it says unsubscribe.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant by getting rid of them. I got to go through and unsubscribe a whole bunch of them because this is ridiculous. It takes me half the morning to go through and get, because there's some stuff, they make it to where it looks like maybe I ought to open this and look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And they basically what it is the main reason for it is every time you go to a website nowadays, just about every website, it says, "Oh, we make use of cookies. You have to accept the use of cookies, or we won't let you on the site." And
you know what I do?
Or automatically when you go there, it's just like, okay, you came here, we're automatically giving you cookies. And then when you go to any other site, it goes and reads your cookies and says, "Oh, we can send advertising to this guy."
Yeah, you're probably right. They tell me that I have to accept cookies. I just go click, bye-bye. And I do have an ad blocker on there, and I always come around saying, "You're running an ad blocker. We need you to turn your ad blocker." I click, bye-bye.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is nowadays a lot of websites don't even warn you that you're going to be accepting cookies, or they're going to read your cookies. Just by the mere fact that you go to the website, they turn around and use that as an excuse to say, okay, just because you came here, you're going to accept our cookies.
Well, the antivirus that I use McAfee's latest one.
What you could do in your browser, somewhere in your browser settings, there should be something that says clear cache or clear cookies.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. McAfee does that. I can go in there and tell them, clear all the cookies,
Yeah, and clear those out. That'll help cut down some of that stuff. The only drawback to that is some sites, and of course, I don't know about you, but me, I don't remember passwords for the life of me. And some websites turn around and autofill your password in there for you, so you don't have to go trying to figure out, okay, what did I set this website up for?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you clear your cache and cookies, it gets the computer forgets what your login and password is, and you have to go about.
Hey guys, let's get off the cookie stuff.
Well, now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I don't want to lose our listeners we have.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, let me also say hi to Jack. Hey, Jack Snively.
Hi, Jack.
And,
you don't want to yell at when you get on an airplane. You know that, don't you? Hi, Jack.
Yes, I know. Exactly. Yeah, I know better than that. Oh my goodness. So we have like 4 people in the chat. So
we got more in the chat than we got here.
Yeah, don't forget to put your comments and questions in there, and we can talk about that. And don't forget, there's a super chat at the bottom of the chat box that helps the channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Really appreciate that. You help the channel grow. So anybody done anything as far as building airplanes? I know that Peter is working on his Saginaw. How about you? Did you get any work done on your any of your Vanguard or anything else, John?
Well, I've been working on a Vanguard. I've got this. This is for the electric motor mount.
Yeah.
And it fits the fuselage sides come in here, and it's got a little indent right there. Arch Animation prints these up on his 3D printer, and he supplies Oki Air with it. But I needed one a little bit wider in here, so Denny and got together, and he says, I know people, and so he got his brother to make me this one a little bit wider.
Nice.
And it's nice. What trouble is I had an earlier, the one that I ordered from Okier that was too narrow in here. I wouldn't use that when I drew the plans. So when I had the plans there, I'm looking at it, I said, you know, I don't think the sizes are the same. So I checked it out, and sure enough, so I had to redo a whole bunch of stuff in the nose, and that's what I've been working on, getting that in there. I had an 1 3/4 inch spinner set up in there. Well, now it looks kind of funny because this is so much bigger around. It's actually set up for a 2-inch spinner.
Mm-hmm.
So I scaled up the spinner, and I'm, you know, just, and then you know, I'm actually, it's a long ways away from where it was the last time you saw it, and I'm just about ready to start. I've started on some of the bulkheads. As soon as I get this done, then I'll get finished up on the bulkheads, and once the bulkheads are finished up, I'll be able to start the putting the notes in, and not the dimensions, but you know, the sub notes, and you know, everything else that you like to have on a plan, so that you don't have to try to guess what the designer was thinking when he, what the heck was that dumbass, excuse me, that dummy thinking when he drew this, you know. So you put your notes on there so that at least you can explain yourself, so that they won't think you're a dumb, you know.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
and then once that'll finish up the fuselage and the stab elevator and the sub rudder and all that, that'll be done. So then I'll just have to finish up the wing, and it's all pretty well drawn. I've just got to check over and make sure I've got you know, everything. You know, one of the things about CAD drawing and hand drawing, both the same thing, you got to make sure that all lines match, all meet. You know, you can't leave a big gap in a line. That's poor drafting. So you know, I've got to do that. I got to go over, check it all out, and then do the call outs on that. And then I get to pull all the pieces out and make up my pattern sheet, because I got to have the pattern sheet. The nice thing about the pattern sheet, the digital pattern sheet, I could send off to somebody that does laser cutting, and they could cut all my parts for me.
Yeah, that is really neat. I like the pattern sheet on the Pathfinder.
Oh yeah, it makes it handy, doesn't it?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and then if you know how to use a pattern sheet to cut your own, you could save yourself a bunch of bucks. You know, about $100.
Yeah.
By cutting, you know, supplying your own wood and cutting it yourself, and using the pattern sheet properly, you can come just about as accurate as a laser cutter, because the laser cutter is using the same pattern sheet. So anyway, so that's where the Vanguard is.
Very good. Yeah, I want to ask you about the plan. Like, I have a Strega, and I'm modifying it to become the Precious Balsa. And for the color scheme, it'd be nice if there was a way I can get rid of all the lines. So I would just have the silhouette of the plane, and I could just kind of draw the color scheme. How do I get in as far as with the plans and on the computer, get rid of all the lines, all the ribs, all the bulkheads? How do you do that?
It's hard if you don't have a digital plan.
Yeah, yeah. If you have the CAD sheet, you can just get rid of the layers you don't want to see. But
right, but if you've got a printed plan, it gets a little tougher. The only way you can do it is lay a piece of tracing paper over it and trace it off, and then you take that down to your large scale printer, and you can have print you up a whole bunch of copies of it, as many as you can afford at the time. Because I usually go through about 5 or 6 different iterations before I've got my color scheme and trim scheme figured out.
Now, you're saying tracing paper. I've only seen tracing paper that's 8.5 by 11 sheet. You're talking about a wider tracing paper? What are you talking about?
If they have it, if you go to the art store, I don't know if I have any here, but I don't remember exactly what it's called. I'll see if I have it here. But they in art stores, they have very thin, like vellum type. It's almost transparent printer that paper that artists use. It's not tracing paper per se, but it's, you know, thin enough and translucent enough that you can lay it over the plan and trace it out. And they come in sizes, you know, about 36 to 24 inches by 36. I have to see if I have any here.
Yeah, and the thing is I mentioned taking that, once you get traced, taking it to a large scale printer, you know, one that can do a longer print like that, because the tracing paper is kind of vulnerable. It can easily get messed up. Whereas if you have it printed on regular, you know, plotter paper, it's a lot more resilient, and you know, you won't tear it up so much while you're having it hanging around your shop, and it stores better and other things like that. So, you know, consider that or keep that in mind. How you doing, Jeff? What do you got there? Is that your?
Let me click on that.
This is the paint job for my Strega.
For your Strega or for your?
For my Strega.
I didn't know you had a Strega.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to tell Charles that all I do is I take it and I scale the drawing down.
Okay.
And I draw it by hand, just the outline. And then I start with basically an imagination. And I just start scratching lines on it and see what I come up with.
Right, right.
Same way I used to paint Harleys.
And that's good. That's a good way to do it, Jeff, to get the idea. I always went to full size because I make my masks. Once I get it settled, I can, you know, of course, I'm doing it on the computer. So, you know, I can make my masks and everything else and have them printed out and cut them out. And, then, you know,
well, here's another one I did.
Happy holidays.
My brother do that.
I don't know how that'll fit on the Strega.
Oh, it's plenty small enough for the wing.
Oh, okay.
I got some other ones here that I did. Let's see what else I got going here.
Very, very nice. Let me chime in a little bit from the chat box. Greg Nielsen says that he moved last December, just unpacked I think that's a Super Tiger rear pipe, I think. I mean, it looks like it's state tax rear pipe, and I imagine it's that. Oh, there it is. That's Super Tiger 61X rear pipe. Nice. I've seen them on eBay, but is yours, Greg, for RC or is it for control line? Or are you going to use it in control line, or are you going to use it in RC? But thanks for chiming in. You guys keep it going on the chat box. Because it's easy right now. We only had like 4 people inside the room, so I can really go back seamlessly.
Yeah, Charles?
Yeah, Peter.
You see what I'm holding up here?
Yeah, I see it now.
You see how you can see through this?
Yeah.
All right, what it's called, this is what I have here. It's kind of done already up for, it's called engineering vellum, VELLUM. And it comes in really big piece. This is 24 by 36.
Nice, okay. That is a great idea.
As you can see through it and trace right onto it.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. I will look into that. I know we have vellum at Staples, and I'll see if we have it in rolls.
Yeah, this one happens to be called engineering vellum because it's all set up with a title block and everything else. But that's what.
Yeah. That's the cheapest way of getting it, I believe, Charles. If you buy it, unless you can get them, if you buy a roll could be a little expensive. If they'll cut off a piece and sell you by the foot, that's probably the cheapest way.
Yeah, I don't think they do, but I might. There's a Reaper Graphics place near me. They might sell it.
They might.
And sell, by the foot. Hey, Lynn, how's it going?
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Lynn.
How's it going? Hey, gentlemen.
You get to storm there yet?
No.
We got one coming in here tomorrow, so
get?
you'll get it in a day or two.
Okay.
And I have a comment from, I think this is Brent Williams, Top Brent. He says, greetings from cold Utah.
Hi, Brent.
So, you know, John, he knows exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. We're supposed to have 4 inches of snow here in my area.
You can have it.
Oh, wow.
And then Greg Nielsen says, regarding the Super Tiger 61, it's RC, but would work on a new control line ship. Yeah, so Lynn, he has a
61?
yes, it's a 61X
Rear exhaust.
rear exhaust.
Nice.
Okay. I didn't know Super Tiger made a 61.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're made in China, you know, so.
Okay.
So, Lynn, do you know Chris Cox?
Yes. I don't know. I don't actually know. I've never met him, but I know of him.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about, you know, developing the connection, the Canadian connection up there on our channel, because if I can get, there's quite a few Canadians I know. You know, Chris Cox, you, Eric,
Bruce Perry.
and then there's some other guys I can't think of their names, but I can
Bruce
see.
Perry.
Who?
Bruce Perry.
Oh,
Oh,
Bruce,
yes.
yeah, we can get you guys to come on in, and then of course Robert Whitney comes in here often.
Yeah, I know Robert for sure. But yeah, I don't know any of the guys out west except Robert. He's the only one I know of. The other guys, I only know their name. I've never spoken to any of them.
And I asked Eric Rule, where is he from, and he said that he said this guy, I think Chris Brown, taught him how to fly up there in Canada. With the,
Oh, that's awesome. He was the president of our club. He just passed away a couple of months ago.
So Eric must have been on that side of the of Canada.
And I never met him. I can't believe that. That's shocking. I don't know when he was here.
Well, he's been here for at least 30 years that I know of.
No, but out that way. Okay, so see, I have only been flying for here since 78.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 88, 98, 2008. Well, yeah, see, so I don't know, but I never met him.
Okay.
I do have a question, guys.
Yeah.
And this also goes back to what John was saying about finding things. I unpacked the box and I found this.
Oh, that's a nice canopy.
Which is a
What's
great
that for?
Because this is the canopy for the
Pathfinder Elite.
Pathfinder. But the question I had is have you guys, anybody, I mean, it's not so much in vogue anymore to actually do cockpits, but has anybody found a better way other than, you know, the traditional, you know, heat up a package of RIT dye or a couple of packages of RIT dye and put them in hot water and then keep dipping the canopy into the RIT dye to get it tinted? Has there been anyone found a better way, or that's
John,
pretty much?
John's going crazy here.
I used to RIT dye them, Peter, but you know, they'd depending on a lot of various things, but they tend to fade out, you know, over time. Mm-hmm. What I started doing was I used clear dope, thinned down, and I put a little bit of the color that I want in there. And
that doesn't flake off. I mean, you know, obviously, it's sometimes you'll grab the canopy and flex it like that. And I know, and typically a lot of times when you paint it on there, it'll just, you know, it'll delaminate from the plastic, and then you'll have flakiness going on.
Hasn't been the problem that I've had. I use it relatively thin. I don't know if that helps, but you make sure it's clean, really clean inside.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So you paint the inside, not the outside.
Right.
No,
the inside you will wear it off.
You can see through it. I don't want it to be opaque.
If you remember my Pathfinder LE, it's got a very dark canopy on it. But if you look at it, you can see there's a pilot sitting in there. And that's just because I used a little too much black or one or two coats too much.
Okay.
Because I'll coat it several times to get it to the tint that I want. Plus, you can use an air gun. You can kind of shade it around the edges and that.
Yeah, the only thing
cool.
I'm kind of leery of is I do have airbrushes. The only thing I'm leery of is like this is the only one, so I don't want to necessarily experiment on this.
Well,
I could experiment, I guess, on a Coke bottle or something.
yeah.
Get a crappy one or get another one and practice on that.
Hey, Dennis.
Dennis. Hey, looks like I'm going to be visiting your home
Dennis.
soon.
Hey, that's it. Hey, Lenny. Hey, who's the
Hey,
stranger up
Dennis,
here?
how you doing?
How you doing, Jeff?
Good. How are you doing, Danny?
Hanging in there, hanging there. Ho, 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 and all that, right?
Yeah. Happy holidays to everybody.
I was just telling them about.
Hey, we all
I'd
got the
have been here 20 minutes ago, but I was trying to find a chair that I could put in front of the tree. Then set the right lighting because this thing's got a colored light shining on it and stuff like that. And then whatever else.
you got
Then I had to get
right.
batteries for my hands free because that's where my microphone works best. So honest to God, I think I need a rest.
idea.
We can actually hear you tonight, Danny.
Yeah, that's it.
You're sounding good, Dennis.
Worth a celebration? Oh.
Yeah.
I was just telling
Yeah,
about
and
this a
Dennis.
little bit earlier that your brother made for me.
Yeah.
I need to find out. I mean, if he's supplying Oki Air, I believe, and I need to, I want to call this out on my plans with a number and a place where where it's available, and so I need to find out if he's got an idea for a number he wants to put on or anything like that, in case somebody else decides they want to build the darn thing. They'll know where to get the part.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Give him a call, give him a write him like you ordered it and everything like that, and have that discussion with him.
All right.
So that's probably the best thing. And then the only other thing would be he does make a couple of special ones for different motors and stuff, but I can't believe anybody's going to put a Plettenberg in a in that airplane or anything like that. And the Plettenbergs are really weird, but the rest of them are pretty normal. So yeah. So yeah, just talk to him about it. Tell you what, why don't you buy 10 off him and then you could sell it with your plans?
Hey, it's not a bad idea.
Actually, he would. Yeah, he'd go for something like that. Or I don't know. You could discuss with him whether you want to put his contact information or something like that. I don't know. Well, I can't write that check for him. I can't. He's going to have to. You and him going to have to work that out.
Yeah. Well, I was going to put a bill of materials on there, and you put down, the part number and the where you get it.
Yeah,
and I've got another problem.
I think his part number is probably Mount for John Miller. All right.
Yeah, and I've got to pull my own canopy there, so I'll have the mold for that. So I'm sure that I'll probably have to, if anybody decides to build it, I'll probably have to be willing to pull a canopy for them. That's not too bad.
Canopy, or tell them to get. I don't know. Is it a long bubble? Put a little LE canopy on it. That might work.
No, it's nothing anywhere near like a little LE.
Oh, okay.
It's relatively. Somebody mentioned the where I'm at now. They mentioned that it looks like the front end of Trossel's. Was that little stunner he had? The half-a stunner.
Oh, Tercel.
Yeah, the Tercel. And I'd never seen a Tercel, so I looked at one the other day, and by golly, they're right. It does kind of look like that, but it's got that relatively long canopy on it.
Yeah, I made a couple airplanes with sailplane canopies, the Gropner Cirrus canopies. We had those in our local hobby shop, and they were, long over sailplanes, right? Long over the nose and stuff. And you could get some really interesting looks with it. And that canopy, I forget the name of it, but that plastic shop that molds all the canopies for Brodak, they have a couple of sailplane canopies in their list, so that might be a possibility. I don't know.
Is there any way to get to look and see what they look like? Do they have a catalog or anything?
Yeah, they got an online catalog. They got a picture of the shape, and then they got dimensions on the shape. You can probably make a pretty good guess whether it would work or not. Maybe order one or something like that. I don't know, but
That's a good idea.
I cannot remember the name of that company though. Do you? You might have worked with them.
No,
okay.
I never was introduced to the man. So,
All right.
if you could look into that and kind of if you find out, just email me.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Now I come in. Hey, Len, good to see you. And you got your tree flashing away too. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, we got the tree. We got the tree. You and I got the same idea going here. Sit in front of the tree.
Hey, great minds
That's
think
awesome.
alike, Len. Right?
I'm looking for that little tree.
Better believe it.
I'm looking for that little tree like Charlie Brown had. That's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, we got one like that upstairs. My wife goes crazy with decorations. We got about a half a dozen trees in the house, one place or the other.
Oh wow!
So,
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
this is the base. I'm in the basement right now, so this is the playroom and the workshops at the other end and everything like that. So this is this is just taking up the space here. But yeah,
So
she's got
Santa's real busy when he comes to your house. He's got all those trees to work under.
Well, I hope it works. But,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
unfortunately,
you get
Santa
enough
also
trees,
says,
you might get the gift you want.
that's it. Unfortunately, Santa also leaves the visa bill at the end of the month. So
Does he? What a bummer.
so I don't know.
They're not because of the COVID. Because of the COVID here in a little town, they're not going to be doing the where the kids go and see Santa. They might have Santa riding down the street waving to the kids from a fire truck, but I don't think they're going to. They haven't contacted me because last year they had three of us as Santas. They had the one that rode on the fire truck, and then they had the two others of us. And they had us. They just able to. We have a huge crowd of kids come in. I must have saw 200 or 300 of them, and each of the, it takes you all day long if there's just one of you. So anyway, they haven't contacted me, and here it is, sort of the 11th. So I don't think we're going to have that, meet Santa Claus and sit on his knee thing. So I've been thinking about putting on a red shirt and getting my Santa hat on, and just when I go into town or go to the store or anything like that, just.
Sure.
I see a kid, I can wave at him and that kind of thing, not get too close, but
Yeah, that's it. Well, they have in the.
I think you should wear it on Stunt Hangar next week.
Absolutely. That's
I can do that. I can do that. I'll put my Santa suit on. I'll put my Santa suit on. What the heck?
Yeah, we got
That'd be amazing.
The mall Santa basically isn't doing it this year. I mean, they're doing it, but everybody has to wear a mask, and you got to stand 6 feet away from Santa and shout. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then buy the pictures and all that. It's like, yeah, nobody wants to do that. So,
Oh man!
out here they got a plexiglass barn door between the kids and Santa.
Yeah. So my wife told me I was going to be
that
Santa.
How about that mall Santa that drove that little kid to tears? Did you read about that?
Yeah.
Kid come up and he wanted a Nerf gun.
I read the headline. I didn't read the story. What all happened there?
Well, the kid wanted a Nerf gun, and Santa told me he ain't bringing him no gun.
Wow.
And as it turned out, a little kid cried, and it turned out that the next day another Santa come over to the kid's house and said, "I'll be bringing you that Nerf gun." And the Santa that said he wasn't going to do it, I guess he had a thing with guns or something. Said he wasn't going to do it, got fired. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be a very good thing for Santa to make the kids cry.
No, that's the bad thing. You can say, well, like I don't promise any of the kids anything. I'll tell them if you're good, if your things, and that, and if I got room in the sleigh, I might be able to bring that, that kind of thing. I kind of hedge it a little bit.
Hey,
So
Bob.
I'm not telling them no, but I'm telling them maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. And if they don't get it, then they know they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
a little shame on them,
Oh,
Hey, Tom, I was thinking of you today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading in my QST. You know what that is, right?
No.
Oh, that's ham radio from the book from the ARRL. Anyway, they were building. There was an article in there on building a little low-powered CW transmitter, and it has an Arduino in there controlling it. And when I saw the Arduino, I thought of you playing with the Arduinos.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay.
And
He
gave the programming. That's got some weird programming stuff.
I'll be back. I need to get some water, you guys. I forgot to bring my water. I'll be right back.
Oh no! He's gonna
Don't burn
dry
the
up
place
and blow
down.
away.
Shut down the chat. Shut down the chat. Whatever.
Yeah, those Arduinos are pretty popular for home.
Now, what's the
home
difference
electronics.
between? I don't mean to hijack the hangar tonight, but I have this burning question, and I know you'll know. What's the difference between the Arduino and a Raspberry Pi?
So Arduino is more designed for manipulating bits and trying to think of how to explain it. Raspberry Pi has, like a Raspberry Pi can connect directly to a TV.
So it's a little mini computer.
Yeah, Raspberry Pi is more like a mini computer.
Oh, okay.
So it's more for the higher level languages, whereas Arduino is more for manipulating bits and more lower levels type stuff.
Okay, that answers the question for me. And I know I kind of hijacked it a little bit, but I just didn't know what the difference was.
I always thought it was dessert.
Raspberry Pi? Oh,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's it. It
Now
sounds
you
like
guys got me wanting Raspberry Pi.
So, yeah, it sounds like something you drip over your figgy pudding or something. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like something part of a song.
Yeah.
Well, it's like some of these things, you're going to find that some of the RC. What do you got there? Look at
that's an Arduino.
Yeah, I was going to say that's an Arduino. Some of these things are going to wind up in some of the airplanes, especially RC, because you can program functions, and you can and think. I don't think it'll wind up in control line precision stunt airback at all. But
not until we get it to fly the pattern.
Yeah, you got a little button there. One line, a little button. Hey, he's got his water. There he is. He's happy now.
That's just a little glass in it.
No, I got to go get water.
Can I share something? Charles, can I share something that I did this week?
Yeah, please share.
Let me get it up here. Let's see here.
Oh, he's doing ice skating.
Ice? You got ice?
I got ice.
Wow.
All right.
You dare walk on it yet?
No. I was hoping it didn't quit out there on me.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it quits out there. You got to wait till the hard freeze comes. Look at that. He spun out.
Nice.
That looks like fun. Now, if you were a true Minnesotan, you'd have had a wing on a sail on that thing.
Yeah.
Now you got to create an RC hang glider to tow behind it to get it airborne.
There you go.
Howling.
That's made out of a pop bottle.
Yep. 2-liter pop bottle.
Cool.
So you can see how I built this.
What'd you paint that with, Tom?
Tube is
I painted on the inside with, I think Rust-Oleum.
So you don't use that flex sand, the old RC car paint?
to a shape that's similar to the shape of a body.
Remember the paint we used to use on RC car bodies? It's called
Yep.
flex sand.
Back piece is
Right.
made out of pine, and I've
That
shaped
stuff got
the
expensive.
front leading edge is sharp,
Yeah, it did.
and then added some
Let's see,
additional
where's
structure to the back.
How do you steer that? Do you move the rear axle or the front
Well,
ski?
there's a servo.
3-cell battery
Right
pack,
here, there's a servo. Can you
one
see the
servo for
cursor?
steering,
Yeah.
Yeah.
receiver. This happens to be an old 72 megahertz or 72 megahertz 2-channel radio that got repurposed for this project. So
So I built this. I had wheels on it for the summer, and then I have some snow skis for when there's snow, and I just made these ice skates just this week to stick on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
I did end up,
make one of these.
because the back slides around so much, I ended up putting the wheels back on the rear axle and then just using the front ice skate to steer. And that works a little better on the ice because the tires grip the ice a little better.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Are the blades? Are they just simple blades? They're not like car or cut like an ice skate, like concave or anything like that, are
No, no, they're not.
Okay.
They're just flat on the bottom.
they? All right.
Well, anyway, my grandson loved it.
I'll bet.
He got to drive it on the lake.
Yeah, I can imagine he would love it. That's great.
In fact, he wanted to keep driving, and I said, "Well, we better quit before the battery goes dead, so because we can't walk out on the ice."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, John, that place is called Park Flyer Plastics. I was going to post the link here, but I don't see. How do I share the link?
I'll find it if it's Park Flyer.
Yeah.
Park
Okay.
Flyer Plastics.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see if I can. Well, what the hell? I'll just see if I can send you an email. So
Okay.
stand by.
I need to get a hold of SIG to order a Super Chipmunk canopy.
Oh, really?
Hopefully they can send me that.
They're in the parts
I
list.
got given an old Super Chipmunk that was crashed last summer. It had no canopy on it, and I'm in the process of rebuilding it, but it has no canopy, so I want to put a canopy on it.
Pilot bailed out or something, huh?
Oh yeah, big time. On the crash, he lost half a wing.
Oh,
But other than that, the airplane's not in too bad a shape, so I'm going to see if I can rebuild it.
So Skip Volk got to try out his parachute.
Oh, big time. I don't know if he survived this one or not. So yeah. what I'm going to do is pin the entire airplane down to the edge of the workbench and then build the half a wing back against what's left there. I've already cut them all on it, all the pieces on it, all the parts. Then what I'm going to do is pin the portion of the wing that's left right down to my work table, let the rest of the airplane hang out over the edge of the workbench, and then just build right up again, build it all right there instead of trying to build it in midair.
You know what's going to happen. The half that's hanging out over the bench, you're going to drop something on the floor, bend down, smack your head against the other half of the airplane, snap it.
Yeah, you're right. I know. Yeah, I've seen it all.
Either that or you're going to have either dihedral or anhedral in that wing.
Yeah, I know. It happens. It's no better than trying to do it midair. I know that leads to just an exercise in frustration.
You do it in midair, it'll end up like a wet noodle.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. It'll be just a big mess.
I'll bring up the homemade rod jig that I made 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so simple to make, and works great. Of course, I use a millennial.
Okay.
No, not a millennial. What? But anyway, I suspended on a lot of that. But lately, I've been designing them so they build on a flat table. It's just easier to do.
Okay.
You don't have to deal with a jig. Just make sure your table's flat.
Yeah. Well, I definitely have a flat table.
There you go.
I built my own table out of Russian birch plywood, that stuff that has tons of laminations.
Oh,
and what I did is
like 6/4 ply.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. Yeah, exactly. It's got a lot of laminations in it. It was quite straight to start with, and then I built a frame. What I did is I built the entire table out of one sheet of this plywood that was over $100. And what I did is I cut two 6-inch pieces off to start with from one end to the other. And I ripped it with the table saw so it was perfectly straight. And then I used those long pieces that were 6 inches in depth down both sides of the table and for the ends. And what I did is I laid the top of that and glued and screwed it down, and it's absolutely perfectly flat.
Well, you know, I was thinking about what I've got an old desk. I was down the basement. I was going to bring it up, but it's kind of, I got it down there using a hand truck, but I don't know if I can get it back up by myself with a hand truck. And I
be careful.
Maybe I'd build one using a door. And I looked down there, and I've got an old solid core door, really good looking solid core door down there. So I think I'd do that. Otherwise, I was going to see if I could find some 6/4 ply. I mean, we used to use that for flooring all the time in the better homes. You know, 6/4 is an inch and a half thick. You know, it don't sag.
Well, this stuff's only 3. Now let me ask you something. How straight is that door? Is it fairly straight or is it bad?
It's a solid core. As near as I can tell, it's pretty straight.
Okay, so why don't you just mention out of that? What you do is lay a sheet of drywall over top of it and shim it with paper.
You got to realize I'm an old drywaller for 40 years. So yeah, drywall works great, doesn't it?
Drywall is what I always use on my workbench because you can pin to it and do whatever you want. And if it gets too beat up, you just put another piece down.
Used to be you could get they had a material that they used in drop ceilings, you know, and
10 test?
Huh?
10 test?
I don't know what it's called in Canada, but I don't remember what it's called here. But it was made by Celotex, and it was beautiful stuff. It was flat, and you could put a pin in it real easy, and the whole things. But I've been able to get into that for years.
No, you can't get it anymore. It's pretty hard to get. They used to use it to sheathe the outside of houses.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like
Celotex.
an insole board. I think that some companies called it insole board.
Yeah. Well, it was
Some called it 10 test, some called it insole board.
it was around. It was used for the inside walls of houses before they developed sheetrock, and it was called Celotex.
That's right.
But
Okay.
after drywall came around, they started making the Celotex because it did have an insulative value, and they started using it for the inserts for suspended ceilings, and
Okay.
and they came in like 28 or 30 inches wide and about 3 to 5 feet long, and they fit beautiful right on your top of your workbench there, and you could easily.
Perfect. Yeah.
Anyway, but like I said, I haven't been able to find any of that for a while. So that's out for building model airplanes on now.
All the good stuff goes away. You guys ever notice that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not going to find Celotex anymore because it used to contain asbestos.
Yeah.
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 Very small amounts, but
Well, so did the drywall and drywall mud.
well, yeah. All that old was a button board that they use for plaster.
Yeah.
That's what my house is built with.
It was about probably in the 80s. They took the asbestos out of the drywall.
It was
I remember you
just
used to be able to cut it. You'd cut it, you'd break it, and you'd see all these fibers there.
Yeah, they started 86 and asbestos about the time just before I got in the trade in 1985.
Yeah. Well, hi there. I'm getting a CAT scan.
Yeah, I got one going on back here too. He's too shy to come up here on camera though.
Well, this one wants to get on my lap. See?
Yep.
His name is Indy. Like Indiana Jones.
Okay.
I didn't name him. My wife did.
And he wears the pants too, doesn't he?
He used to. He's too old now. He's got young ones. I mean, he still tries to once in a while, but I got my sister's cats here. My sister's in a nursing home now.
Oh.
And she had this cat. He's 18 pounds.
Wow.
Wow.
He's this cat.
He's a dog.
Darn near. And he thinks he's the new boss. I had to rub his nose in something the other day, let him know who the real boss was.
Yep. Done that.
Indy, come on.
I bet he didn't like that.
No, but he went and did it again 2 days later, so he got his nose rubbed again. So eventually we'll come to an understanding.
Yeah, they're pretty smart.
That's right.
Let me
I
just
hate
make
to do
a question
that.
out there
I
in
can't
the
stand
audience.
having him doing what he was doing,
What's that, Charles?
I wanted to ask the audience if you please smash that like button. We had 15 concurrent viewers and only 5 likes. So if you like the program, please don't forget to hit the like button and share and subscribe. And we have our YouTube memberships at $4.99 a month. That's only 17 cents a day.
Well, if they don't like us, maybe we have to do something else, Charles. Start dancing or something like that.
Well, we
I
could
don't know.
get a poll.
Oh,
and
just imagine.
I'm
Oh, maybe,
surprised.
Lord.
maybe we can do the show topless. I don't know.
That's going to be hard to unsee.
So,
Well, I am doing
I
it
don't think
bottomless
there's-
already.
Oh!
Yeah,
We
well.
could go back to drawing or Peter's airplane or
yeah.
any time.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I'm gonna be going out to get myself a water too, but mine's gonna have hops and barley in it.
All right.
I think I'm going to get a water.
I'll be right back.
Hey, Peter, what's up with the
Charles.
PT-19 wing?
I was wondering when somebody was gonna when somebody was gonna mention that I got that sitting back there.
I knew it was because I had one.
And hold on a sec. Let's see if I can dig this thing out.
There it is. There it comes.
There's the rest
I
of
knew
it.
Is that the Horizon
I
Hobbies
knew it.
kit?
Hold on a second. Yes, it absolutely is. And I have such an aversion of of putting together ARFs, but that is the Hangar 9 ARF PT-19. And I figured I'd dig it out.
Do you have the Evo 36?
What's that?
Where's the Evo 36?
No, I didn't buy it with the engine. Yeah,
Okay.
two versions of
You
that.
went the, yes,
The one,
you
the
went
one
the
that
cheap
came
road.
also with the engine, and one that came with just about everything else. The one thing I have to say about it is the kit came with everything you possibly need. It came with the tires. It came with a handle. Came with lines. Came with a fuel tank. Just about everything except for an engine. The only thing that it didn't come with, basically, to go out and fly it, is an engine. And of course, you have to assemble some of the parts. I bought this about, oh Jesus, 10 years ago, and it's been sitting in that current state for about 1010 years.
Oh my goodness. Finish it.
I just can't bring myself to actually put it together and maybe put a motor on it and fly it. But I brought it out, so maybe in the future, one of our hangouts, I'll actually turn around and bite the bullet and kind of give a little show and tell on how to finish it up and get it ready to fly. Although I don't ever intend to put a motor on it. I just don't like ARFs. ARFs in general. What I did when I bought it for my grandson, because to see if I can get him interested into flying control line. And I took it out, and we were standing side by side, starting to put it together, put the elevators on, getting it ready and put it together to fly it. And after about 25 minutes of, having interest in what we were doing, he just wandered off and just started doing something else. He had absolutely no interest in the model airplane whatsoever. And since then, he never brought it up.
Did he ever see one fly?
What's that?
Did he ever see one fly? Did he ever see one fly?
No, he did not.
That's a shame. You should have taken him out and let him see one fly. Then he would have been interested.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I did not have anything airworthy at the time to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, too bad.
Oh, I know. I hear you.
Peter, send it this way, man. I'll send it to Romania to those kids over there.
So ever since, it's just been pretty much sitting there in that state.
When I went to
Mine flew pretty good. It was
in
As
2016.
far as an ARF is concerned, it's great. I mean, like I said, I've never seen an ARF that actually came with with a handle and the flying lines included.
Yeah, that was a good kit. I saw that fly in tandem with who those guys at Brodax, Dan.
Dan and Mike
Danny
flew them in
Van
formation. Yeah.
And those guys flew a P-19 like that each, and they did the stunt pattern. And that was amazing watching those two PT-19s fly.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, after they finished the pattern, I don't know who was who, but someone went on top, did the wing over, and pull out right on top of the other one. And not just once, I saw him do it like 4 times. And I was totally amazed. I really have respect for those two guys to do that. That was absolutely amazing. Have a plane coming down straight down toward the other one and pull out right on top of it. It was amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have any video of that, but that was,
routine for years with those two airplanes.
it looked like they've been doing it for a long time because that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing.
They've done that routine for many years with those two airplanes. Yep. They're very good, both of them.
Have any of you guys either done it or watched anybody fly two airplanes at once?
Yeah, I watched
guys
Bart do it.
one stunt a number of times.
Yes.
I watched Bart do it back in our teenage years.
Yes.
Went over to Disneyland where he was demonstrating.
Uh-huh.
I've done it.
Oh yeah,
I've done it for
it's
years.
a ton of fun. I've had, let me see, we had one time we had like 4 guys up and in circle at a time. It's a ball. It is a blast.
Gordon Delaney flew 2 combat ships at the same time, and he wound up getting, if I remember correctly, his story, he wound up getting like this and had a heck of a time getting it to work, but he managed to do it. He managed to do it. He's a very talented flyer.
There's a video of that. Somebody had to run out and grab the other handle so he could untwist himself.
Yeah. I didn't know there was a video.
Now, I don't know if it's Gordon Delaney in the video. I think it is, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I guess that's something I've been wondering about trying that sometime. I think it might be fun to, might be expensive, but it might be fun to try.
Oh,
So.
It's a ton of fun. Well, you don't necessarily want to do it with your top class stunt ship, but bring a profile out. It's a ton of fun.
Well, you have somebody to talk to while you're out there too.
Yep, it's great.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
I
heard Joe
Gilbert.
My dad and I used to fly a magician and a shoestring together.
Okay. Yeah, Joe Gilbert talked about after they watched Dan and Mike fly at Rodak, they went home. A couple of the Oklahoma boys, they were going to fly, stunt like that too. So they went out, said they lasted 1 wing over. They were flying foam wing airplanes, and all of a sudden it was snowing in Oklahoma in August. Right? Apparently they mid-aired in those foam wing airplanes. They just turned into snow.
What are we doing?
Man.
Flying 2 planes?
You don't get that close.
Yeah,
no, 2 guys in the circle doing the pattern.
Oh.
I brought something up that I found. I was talking about finding earlier. Here's the mold for the 2 bits biplane for the canopy on that.
Right.
And so I found that, and I wanted to hang on to it. It's real skinny back here, and it's a little wider up front.
Nice.
And but it's all made to put inside a 2-liter bottle, and I just jam a piece in here to get it tight. Then take the old heat gun out. I always cut the front end of the bottle off and take the end off the water, that whatever you got in it comes out of, so that it will shrink down easier. That up there in front is a bit thicker.
Right.
So anyway, that's that one. And then I found, I was going to back up. That wasn't for the, I don't know what that one was for. This one is for the 2 bits biplane.
Okay.
All right.
Did you make it out of a Sprite bottle so it's already green?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they used to be able to find yellow bottles. I've been trying to find a yellow bottle for a long time. So you got choice of clear, yellow, or blue. Anyway, so I found those.
Tell me a little.
What was that?
Tell me a little more clearly how you do that. You cut the end off the bottle, you put it inside the bottle, and then how do you do it? What do you do with the heat gun, and how do you pull it over?
Okay, I cut the end off the bottle.
Right.
Back up a minute.
You have a bottle there?
I cut the bottom off the bottle. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I hold the front of the bottle where the neck is.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And then you take. I've got a piece of balsa here a scrap balsa that I just shove in. That it just tightens the bottle onto this. It kind of pulls it around. So this is deeper top to bottom than the bottle is. So it just stretches it down.
Okay.
Then I hold on to that. And I take the heat gun out, and you just start working the heat gun on it, and it'll shrink it right down to that form. And when you get done, it's real easy to get out because you just pull out that piece of scrap. This drops down. This comes out, and you're done. It's cleared out.
There are lots of videos on YouTube how to do it.
Yeah.
And Tom sounds like he's announcing the baseball game.
I found these. I thought I'd lost them.
Oh wow!
So
John,
John,
I've seen those for years.
See, I had the whole set. I'm still missing one, but I'm glad I found these. You know.
Yeah.
The engine handbook, the master modeling, and the Tom's Technique. Tom's Techniques is on monocoating, so you know. So I found those. That was the other thing I couldn't remember that I'm so happy I found.
I bet. Yeah, I haven't seen that in years in the hobby store.
No, I don't think they've been in the hobby stores for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I want to
I
thank
have one of those. I gotta go down and check it.
I had 2 more likes added, so now we're up to 7 likes, and I appreciate that so much. Thanks for hitting the like and smashing the like button, and don't stop.
You put up a like button for me.
Yeah.
Well, everybody likes Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Especially this time of year. Nobody's taking any chances, John. So
That's right. I tell you. It's so much fun this time of year. You go in the store and there'll be a little kid there, and the kid will be acting up, and I'll turn around and look at him like that. The kid looks at me and goes like that. And sometimes I'll do this to him. Yeah.
then the kid goes off screaming, "Mom!
Mommy won't give me a Nerf gun."
Yeah.
Next thing we know, John's being hauled off in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harassment.
Imposter.
Somebody will call it harassment.
Yeah. Oh, you got your flying. That's the one I'm. That's the one I'm missing. Yeah.
Hey, that's
I should send it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Do that. If you're not using it.
Do that. We'll set that up. I'm never gonna use it. I've been flying around way too long.
Yeah. I've been flying low.
Is that about Control Line? That book, Flying Around?
Yeah. Yep. That's what it's about.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I've never seen that book.
Look.
It has things on
That's kind of interesting.
scale and speed and stunt and all kinds of
stuff.
Racing.
Lots of pictures and all kinds of stuff.
Very cool.
I remember seeing that book at Venice Hobbies when I was about 7.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, yeah.
I think that's about the
I have a
last
couple of
time I saw
pictures
it.
in there that here's one of my favorites. There's what happens if you get caught in the hydro wires.
Oh yeah.
That gets the picture across.
Yeah, that's a frightening warning for.
Oh,
Yeah.
It looks like a shocking
oh
experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
He got a real charge out of that one.
I don't think John probably
If you get
Made the right guy out
this
of
is what
him.
happens. This is what happens if you get your duty. That looks like me. That looks like me after the stunt pattern some days.
That was a long time ago. That guy's
Oh,
got
my
hair.
goodness. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man. Unbelievable.
Well, they were good books.
Yeah,
You know, they were good reference books. I think I may have loaned that one that you've got. I may have loaned that out to somebody. I never got it back.
Ah, it's too bad.
That happens often.
You probably did. Yeah, it does. That's what we do. But we'll set it up and I'll send you this one because I don't really have a need for it.
Oh, super, Glenn. I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. I'll get your address. I'll send you a PM or something tomorrow or another day and we'll set it up and I'll just mail it to you.
Okay.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you. Santa's having an early
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas to you. Yeah.
And a Merry Christmas to you, son. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Well, that's some insurance. You won't get a cold.
Yeah,
lot of cold.
You won't get any coal in your sock this year. Well, okay.
No cold socks this year. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
He got a rock for Halloween, but he's not going to get coal for Christmas.
Yeah, the problem was when I lost 3 teeth.
Thought it was a drumstick, right?
Yeah, I know. I thought it was a candy, and I went to bite it and lost 3 teeth.
Oh, no.
It was Halloween, remember?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
they
look at this Vanguard. That is a long airplane. But you know why I made it so long?
know why.
Because I wanted it to balance with the weight of that battery and that motor up front without having to, you know. And I did the weights and balances, you know, the summing the moments on it. And it looks like at the most, if it needs any weight at all, it might need like a quarter of an ounce in the nose. If my estimations are correct.
I still use the old formula for moment arms.
Did you get the 88 miles per
What's
hour
that?
or 80 miles per hour for the calculations?
No, it's a static balance.
Oh. Oh, it's not going back to the future?
What are the old? What are the old moment arms, Jeff? Tell me.
Well, what I use, I learned from Tom Warden and Bill Noyes way back. And what they told me was the nose is 90%, the wing chord is 100%, and then hinge to hinge is 1.4 or 140% of the wing chord. And it usually works out pretty good.
Say it again. I'm writing it down, Jeff. Say it again. 90% for the nose.
90% from the leading edge to the back of the prop. 100% is the leading edge to the hinge line. And 140% is hinge to hinge, wing to tail.
Huh.
So it comes out like
That's interesting.
9, 11, and
9, 10, 14.
yeah, 9, 10, 14. Yeah.
And that works out pretty good most of the time. Unless you go real big. If you go with like a
That's
65
nobler numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
right on.
that's nobler numbers.
Nobler, Chipmunk,
Okay.
Acrobat.
Most of the planes from the classic era.
Classic,
That works for a Strega or a Cardinal.
No, it won't work with anything bigger than.
Yeah, see, I knew about the 9 and 14. I knew about the 9 and 14, but I didn't know the rest of how you came to those numbers. Now I know. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's 90 and 140 is according or compared to the wing.
Okay.
That's the way I
Okay,
learned
so
it from
90,
Tom
100,
Warden.
and 140.
I learned it from Tom Warden like that 30 years ago, and I've been using it ever since.
Yeah,
And it works for anything right around
That's
50 to
interesting.
55 inches.
but the problem is when you get into the
That's-
electrics, you got your electrics, you don't lose the weight of the fuel. So your electrics the battery usually weighs more than the fuel tank.
Yeah, you'll never have to worry about that with me, though. I hear my wife vacuums the carpet enough.
Well, so the thing is you wind up it throws a monkey wrench in that formulation when you go to electric. So you usually wind up having to put a fair amount of lead somewhere in there to balance it out. Not that that's a bad thing, but if you're trying to keep it really lightweight,
You just make the battery compartment so that you can move the battery forward or backward to get it to balance.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've been building, basically converting kits and stuff, and even classic airplanes and all that. And I usually don't have much of a problem balancing things. I don't know, I got just as many that are tail heavy as nose heavy.
Okay.
The only one that was really nose heavy was the Ringmaster, and you come right down to it, a Ringmaster don't fly for crap if it isn't nose heavy. And I had the Stuka turned out a little nose heavy, and I ended up, that one's had about a half ounce of lead in the tail. That's probably about the most nose heavy airplane I got right now in the fleet. So
Has anybody here ever flown a Peacemaker?
Yeah, that's
No.
not bad.
The original, the George Aldrich Peacemaker, and the one that came with the molded fuselage sides.
No.
I had one.
My mom built one of those
Nope.
things back in the 70s.
Wow, you have a
And I
cool
ended up
mom.
flying it. I ended up flying it in the late 80s. And I ended up, what did I put in? I put an S35 or a 35S in it. An OS Max engine with a muffler.
Nice.
And I think I put 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces of lead on the tail wheel wire.
Wow.
Just to get it to turn.
Mhm.
Wow.
That's something that if you don't balance it almost an inch behind the spar.
Hey, I got.
Hey guys, I have some for you.
All right. You can do a show and tell?
Yeah, I have a little show and tell for you guys.
Awesome.
Hey,
dude.
Steve.
So this is what I want to do, like a molding, how to mold shells, kind of thing, right? So obviously I made the mold and I shape it up like that. I told you guys, like with the blinds and stuff like that, to make sure that's nice and symmetric. And this is just a cling wrap, a sheet of cling wrap is sitting on top of it. Obviously, it's not important to be perfect. You can go nuts, if you try to make it super perfect. It's not necessary. Anyways, it's just a barrier so you can put your shells on top of it and get it done. Now, I have already wetted the shells.
Not wreck the shell. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens here, I have a compound surface. Like it goes, for most part, from about here to the back, it's kind of straight. It's kind of same shape, right? But here in the front, it's going like this and like that. Okay. So it's like a 3D shape, right? So obviously you cannot put a flat surface over there. So here's a trick that I like to do. Depending on how tight this is, I mean, if you have a lot of curvature to it, you might have to do it a little bit more often than what I'm about to do, because this is kind of a soft turn. You see that? It's not really an abrupt change of direction or something like that. So I'm gonna, what I like to do, I just take an X-Acto knife. So for that, I think about 1/2 inch would be nice. 3/4 of an inch is gonna be nice. So I'm just gonna get an X-Acto knife and just kind of eyeball it like this and slit it. This shell is already wet, okay? So I already soak it down.
All right.
So you can see.
Yeah, very good.
I'm cutting it open like this. And obviously I'm gonna laminate 2 shells on top of each other. And I like to do this because what it does is going to give you a much better shape. It doesn't give you the starving horse kind of look in time. And if you have a single shell, it likes to bounce back to its original shape. Eventually, if you leave it alone, it's going to almost turn out flat sooner or later. So it's not holding its shape. So what I like to do, these are all soaking wet right now. So what I do, I just take Elmer's wood glue, and this is white glue. Long story short, you just use some kind of white glue. And if you give me a second, I'll get this thing to work. Okay, there it goes. So this is, as you can see, a highly difficult process. I just do this.
Clean it out.
Yep, and because it's all soaking wet, this is gonna be thinned out because it has a lot of water in there, and it's gonna communicate on both sides when you put them together. Safer, whatever, you know. So this is the white glue, and if you think you have too much, you know, just take them off and take a paper towel and,
yeah,
you know. So kind of judge it, you know. You don't want it to be super soaked or super thick, but it's very easy to just, you see that? I'm not sure if you can see that from that angle.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the difference?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm just going to get this guy on top of it, slap it on. So this is my lamination. And as you can see, I didn't measure anything like how they're going to fit over there. It's like, really, it's not important at all.
That's good.
Right? So I'm going to put this on top, and this is going to go on like that. Something like that. I'm going to look at my cutouts to be, you know, somewhere where the flat starts. So this looks kind of good. All right. And you don't want to put anything like cling wrap on top of it or something like that, because you won't allow it to breathe, right?
Okay.
So if it's not breathing out, the water is not
right. Yeah, you don't want to seal it.
Yeah, you don't want to seal it. That's for sure. So let me grab a paper towel.
That's right. It won't dry. Okay.
All right. So I got off the, you know, I just did get off the headphones. So I hope you have a nice sound. Now you can, you know, you can cheat here a little bit. You can take a couple of pins if you want to do that. And you can look like this, and it's kind of centered right there. I'm going to stuff a pin into it, right?
Right.
And I can look this way here as well. This kind of center. I'm just going to put another pin over here. Just like that. Simple stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe put another one here so I can get a start. So all I care is just for the start, right? And here we go.
Yeah.
I don't use any ammonia. I don't use any of the funny stuff right there. So all I'm using is just plain water for this. And as you can see,
all right,
it's as simple as this. So I'm going to pull my pin out.
That's awesome.
I mean,
as you wrap it, that's awesome.
Not hard to do. And guess what? You can use this technique for a whole fuselage side. And because it's laminated, it's going to hold its shape in time. And you don't even need formers for this if you do it like this, because it's a lamination. It's like a plywood. It's already formed in position. So it's not going to, you know, reset its shape or something like that, or give you the starving horse. You can put something in between them if you really choose to. You can put a piece of paper or something like that, whatever, you know. But really, for now, this is the easy part right here. So Now, when I'm approaching here on the top,
Are
I'm
the
just gonna,
balsa sheets 16?
yes. And the 116
Okay.
is going to laminate a lot easier on the tighter curves, like on the top of top deck of
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. In the end, a sheet that's an 8-inch almost, or at least. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's really good.
yeah. So here I'm just pulling it hard. So what I'm doing, I'm pushing. I'm not worried about that spot. I'm just worried about this section here. I'm pushing it hard. I'm pushing it down against the mold, like this.
Yeah.
And I'm just working my way over a little bit further down, like this. And obviously I have too much extra here, so no big deal. I'm going high tech here. I mean,
You sure you're not a sheet metal worker? That looks like something I would have done.
so I just ran out of material on this one, so I'm gonna get another one. Yeah, give me a second. I have a new one here. So, all right, here we go. And this one, obviously on the back side, you only need one layer, but on the front, you may need more, obviously. Because you have more pressure, you have more curvature. And what I'm doing here, I'm kind of filling it with my fingers.
Right.
And what I want to make sure that I have is that they don't go on top of each other. They're still side by side. Kind of look at them. Push it down some more. Yeah. This one is going to require a lot of, more pressure, I guess. But eventually you're going to get it down in there. So here I'm going to go some more. And yeah, as long as they don't go like this, you're fine, right? You can keep adding more pressure because the more turns you have in here, the more pressure you're going to have. And you kind of squeeze it with your hand, work it out like this. So this is really simple stuff. Now the rear block, like the block on the back side of the fuselage, which is just everything is straight line, that's super easy to make. I mean, I chose this part in particular because it has the compound turn in the front. And I know some people may be shying away from that.
Yeah.
Or they try to get a straight sheet and try to get the straight sheet to go around the curves and whatever. So right now I'm pretty happy with what I have here. I'm just going to take this towards the back since I have a bunch of extra. Might as well use it and put some more pressure on the back side. Actually, all around. Really doesn't matter. And once I'm done here, I'm going to go back here and just going to kind of just push it and put pressure on it and stuff like that. And you may want to look from the front like this, and you can move it around and see what you got there. But the Elmo wood glue should glue the sheets wherever you slit them like that. The more slits you have, it's the easiest to go around very sharp turns and stuff like that. I even did the wingtip one time by making a bunch of slits on one side on a leading edge, and the back side was kind of normal. I didn't even worry about the back side of the wingtip. So I made the two shells and I slid them like that on the side with an X-Acto knife, glue them together, and I had the wingtips. So
now, Tryon, so when you get done, is the result pieces of wood that are overlapping on top of each other and you sand them down flush?
No, they're glued.
I'm going to show you, but I'm going to do it Monday.
Okay, sounds good.
So Monday, I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to demonstrate what I'm doing with that. Because just it's another. So basically, what I do when I take it off, I just put this flat on a piece of on the top of the table, and I have an exact knife with a blade, and just walk it around.
Yeah.
And then that way you have a nice flat surface.
Right. Good idea. I look forward to seeing it Monday.
Right. So yeah. So this looks good. Like when you do this, you're not gonna feel kind of like cracks or something like that. You're gonna feel it nice and smooth all the way around, right?
Wow.
So that's kind of what you're looking for. So obviously you can see I have more band-aids here in the front, much less on the back, and you can also see probably from the back side. Okay. I'm not sure if it's very visible, but do you see how one is longer, one is shorter? In the corners here.
Oh yeah,
That's because when you laminate it, you start with them equal. When you go down, they do this.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
Right. But because they do this number and they're sitting on top of each other, once they're glued together, they don't want to come back because now they kind of hold each other.
Right.
Make sense?
It does.
If it's a single sheet, it's going to do that. But then in time, it wants to come back up. So now, especially if you have formers underneath, you're going to see the starving horse forming in time.
Huh.
With this, you'll not see that. And it's a lot more stable. You can even make it a hatch, and it's not going to spring back out or give you kind of a crazy stuff going on there. That's why I kind of prefer this two sheets lamination method. I mean, you can do a whole fuselage out of it. Just make formers with foam and some plywood pieces, and then shape them up with a sanding paper, whatever method you choose to. And if you prepare your two sheets, put them on top of each other with almost wood glue, the same thing applies.
Right.
And you can have the front nose, the form on the nose and stuff like that, like a Spitfire-ish kind of look to it, if you want to do that. But obviously, you can do any shapes. So
interesting.
So this is my lesson on how to.
Yeah, how can you mold the surface down small without having to remove the balsa instead of just putting the slits in it?
The slits help to form around the corner because it's a compound surface.
Right, but
most of the surfaces are straight lines, right?
Yeah.
In a kind of straight direction. It's called a ruled surface. A ruled surface is a surface on which you can put a straight edge anywhere on it, and you can find a straight edge, right?
Right.
For example, this would be a ruled surface. Okay?
Yeah.
So, because I don't have very sharp compound surfaces on it. And this one, you can just mold it in, put two layers on top of each other, mold it, and that's it, done.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. But how far can you do a compound without having to remove some of the balsa so it doesn't overlap itself?
You mean before you have to start making pie slots in it instead of just
right.
straight slots?
Yep.
It's a judgment, Steve. I mean, just as soon as it's compound in three directions and it's pretty, you can see it with your naked eye, right? Probably there is going to be a good start to place the slits. Now, if you make like a Spitfire fuselage and you do go around the nose and then the shell goes around the backside, which is kind of straightish all the way through, I wouldn't make any slits on it unless I'm getting close to the nose area, where you're gonna have the scoop from underneath coming up and from the top coming down and stuff like that. And the trick to it, Steve, is with this method, you don't need to make splits in a balsa like this, hoping they're gonna come together, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you just measure the outside on different stations, right, to get an idea what the shape of the balsa is going to be. So what you do, you slit the balsa like every quarter of an inch or 3/8 of an inch, because what they're going to do, they're going to move sideways, right? So imagine my fingers are or the original piece of the balsa, they're going to go like this as well, right?
Oh, okay.
So as they form around, they also can do a little bit of this, right?
Right.
Like curving, right? So I don't really worry about it, because as the sides are going to go like this, but the top and the bottom, they want to push down, like on a boat. If you look on a boat, they start straight lines on where the deck is, right? But as you go down to the bottom, they start to curve like this, right?
Yeah.
It's normal stuff. But if you slit it every 3/8 of an inch or so, they're gonna. I mean, the balsa is when you wet it, it can do a little bit of this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Now this is about 3/8 of an inch. If I cut it to 1/8 of an inch, see, watch this. So it's pretty stiff like that. But if I cut it to quarter of an inch, look at this. I can take it. Look how much curvature I can put into it.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So because you start to work it down, so you have your ace band-aids. You start here, right? And you push it down, work it out in your hand. So what you do, you get to about this point with ace band-aids, work it down in your hand, make sure everything sits, it's nice and smooth. Then you go with the rubber band a little bit further, let's say half an inch or so, right? And then again, you make sure that they are nice and straight. You can see on the front side the stuff that's free in the air, right? You're not going to see them going like this, right?
Right.
If they do, just pull them back together, put them side by side. Then work another half an inch. Go work your way down the line a little bit. So as you can see, like whatever is straightish, like would be the if it was
Yeah, I understand that. I just
side all the way to the nose, you almost just the last 5 inches in the nose, you have to worry about it.
Oh, okay. I've seen other videos of molding, and when they get down to real tight stuff there, then they're cutting pie shapes out and stuff.
Sure, you can do that too, yeah. But if you cut pie shapes, you are not guaranteed that they're gonna come back together. That would be my question with the pie shapes. Are they coming back together side by side? But if you slit them on many lines, they're gonna still stay glued together nicely, but they're gonna form nicely everywhere.
All right.
So, and they're gonna hold their shape. I think they're gonna hold their shape maybe even better than pie shape, because you have many slits through it.
Pie shapes also give you kind of a corner rather than a rounded look.
Yeah, that's for the going around the corner. The slits are going for.
If when your pie shapes come together, they don't come together on the same plane. They come together like this.
Yes.
Those don't.
Who is DB Cooper in here?
I don't know.
All right. So,
Charles,
you guys for your attention.
Trying to get in?
I think he needs to click his camera and mic. I mean, it's all on him.
Yeah, I know, but DB Cooper is the guy who stole all that money and jumped out of here.
Well, he maybe his first time he might be a little shy. Let's not scare him away.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, DB Cooper, just unmute your mic. At least we can hear you, and maybe we can help you with any other challenges you might have getting in.
Plus, we can tell you how to unload that 20 million.
Yeah, down toward the bottom of the screen there, DB Cooper. There's a telephone in the middle, and then on the left and right you have a microphone and a camera. The one to the left of the telephone click on that, and that'll unmute your mic. And if you can unmute your camera as well, that'd be great. And there's also a chat box. If you look down toward the bottom left, the first little icon there is a chat. You can click on that and you can type. If you can't undo your mic, so we can't hear you, but you can still type. And we'll know. Here we go. Matter of fact, there's something in there now. Let's see.
Yeah, because if you don't do it, we're gonna boot you.
Now, see, now you scared him.
Yeah, why'd you do that, Peter? What's up with you?
No, we used to get what they call him, bucket head or something.
Yeah, helmet head.
Huh?
Helmet head.
Helmet head, yeah.
Helmet head, yeah.
That's what I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I thought that to get into Stunt Hangar, you got to use your real name and stuff.
Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
you having a bad hair day?
Oh, yeah.
At any rate, while you guys are trying to figure out who DB Cooper is, this is what I just scored. I just scored that on eBay.
Oh, nice.
Is that a 40H?
No, that's a 40. That's a 40 VF.
Oh, okay.
So now you have two of them, right?
What's
No,
that HW10 something or whatever on there?
The reason I got the 40, I've got a 46. Now I've got the 40 as well.
All right.
What's the writing on the thing?
I don't know. That's what it looks like. Somebody may have. Hold on a second. Looks like somebody may have been either the owner's monogram or maybe somebody did work on it. And I can't. It's like looks like H or AWB number 4.
Yeah.
No, I think it says burnt out. Only joking.
It really doesn't matter. It was less than $100. I'll just send it to Randy. Have him rebuild it.
Yeah, he'll have it.
AWB, that's my old engine. That's the one that went straight into the asphalt.
Yeah, you're not being nice, Jeff.
It's okay. It's only an OS.
But actually, it comes with the header, which is like almost
that's awesome
nowadays. Comes with the header, and actually also comes with an aluminum tune pipe. I have no use for the aluminum tune pipe, but it comes with a bunch of goodies.
Cool.
Hey, the aluminum pipe is probably tuned for flat out go go go.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. The thing I can't figure out is what is this 3? That looks like a Fox backplate.
No, that's 4-pole backplate.
No, it isn't. It's 3. One
thing laying on the side.
It's 3. It's 1, 2, 3. I mean, what?
That's for a Quickie 500 pylon racer.
Oh yeah.
They use a firewall mount. They mount that to the back of the engine, and then 3 bolts to the firewall.
Okay.
You know what? I bet you that motor's been made to run in what they call that 40 something back in the day in pylon.
Mm-hmm. And it's quite all right. Like I said, I'll turn around, I'll take the motor, send it off to Randy, and let him do his work on it. It was, like I said, it was cheap. It was under $100.
Yeah, it's pretty good for a VF motor.
For sure.
So I've got the 46 and I have the 40, and I think I'm pretty set on engines at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Len.
Hey, I'm gonna. Yeah, what's up?
Hey, I was just wondering, there in Canada with that vaccine, do you actually have to be 85 to get it first, or do you just got to look like you're 85 like you?
Don't be smart. Unbelievable. Payback's gonna be a bugger.
Sorry, Steve, you're next in line.
No soup for you.
Sorry, Steve, you're next in line.
Payback could be a real bugger.
Real mother.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm the one that's got to wait the longest out of this group.
I got something to show you electric, guys.
Oh, gee.
Oh my
Look at
God.
this, an electric. Wow, that woke you up. Look at
that
that.
fan to cool you down when it gets too warm.
Lenny's going out runner. All right.
Yeah,
Did you get that out of the wife's vacuum
that
cleaner?
is. That is a Cobra 2008
Huh.
with a 9.6 APC prop. I need to get a governor and some other stuff for it.
Well, you got about the
governor
equivalent
programming
about
stick, whatever
is
that
this
is.
right, Denny? About a 15 size engine there.
I don't know what numbers. What was the number on it? I didn't hear that.
2008.
28, no, 2808.
2808. Okay.
28.
Yeah, that's a 25.
Yeah.
That's a 25. The 9.6 prop
Okay.
on it will do just fine. Maybe a 9.4.5, but I'd go with the 9.6, and then put it on a Ringmaster class airplane, and you'll have a blast.
Hey, if you put it in,
I have an airplane for this that was given to me with the motor, and I have this part here. What is that?
That's the ESC.
Yep. Can you hold it a little closer to the
the
screen?
ESC, I've got.
Well, wait a minute. Let's see if I can blow you up here. Ah, we lost it.
Hang on. You lost me? No way. I'm still here. Did I come back?
Yeah.
It's taped over.
Yeah, it's taped over the size of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't tell. Looks like there are big.
Okay, hang on. I'll take the tape off.
The label. Yeah.
How many
Hang
kV
on.
is the motor?
Yeah, it is. So I'm going to see if I can get it off here. Hang on. It's well stuck on there. But we'll get it off.
Then when
Just
you're
give me a
done
minute
with
here.
that, tell us how many- when you're done with that, tell us how many kV the motor is.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
if you put one of those
The
electric
KV is
1130. Oh, now what?
30A.
It was a
Oh
28.
no, I'm looking at the. I'm talking about the ESC.
30 amp ESC.
30 amp. All right.
Yeah.
So now on that Cobra, it's a 2808.
It says
watt.
22 max. It says 22 max I equals 24 amps. I don't know what that means.
On the motor itself, does it have a four-digit?
Does it say what I need to know on the motor?
On the motor itself, it may have the KB number on. I thought Cobras had the KB written on the motor shell.
Yeah, 2808. What else is on there?
The four-digit number, like 1200 or something like that.
He froze up.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Well, it disappeared altogether.
I've got something for the electric guy.
I
Ducted
see it.
Moving on
through. Damn thing.
Okay.
I would think if you'd stick one of those jet props on it and put it in a PVC tube,
You guys.
it would make one heck of a portable hairdryer for Naomi.
KV 1330.
KV 1330.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hear me. I'll go out and come back in.
All righty.
Like I said, I got the better electric solution. It's called the duct fan.
1330. What? That'd be a 3-cell then, wouldn't it, Dennis?
Yeah. Cripe, we lost Len completely now.
He said he's going to come back in. He said he's going to come back in.
All right.
Gary, wake up, Gary.
Yeah, I got in too late for to say hi to Gary.
Well, we saw you for a second there, Leonard.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
The KV says 1330.
All right.
All right.
You put a 3-cell, maybe a 2200 3-cell pack on that, and you should be able to have a lot of fun on a Ringmaster with that.
Yeah, he said
that type of airplane.
Yeah, he said a 2200 MAH 3F rifle.
All right.
Does that sound about right?
That sounds right.
So all I need now is what's called a KR governor with slide switch from Eric Rule. Normal RPM range. And a KR governor programming stick and charger. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can do that, or you can have Dennis set you up with one from Brodak.
Will that work with all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How much? Brodak has that.
And Brodak has a timer that works as simply as C's, and instead of governing, what it does is that it actually adjusts the throttle as the battery wears down. And over the course of the flight, it ends up maintaining a pretty good RPM, pretty accurate RPM and stuff like that. The beauty of it is that it's all automatic and seamless and dirt simple to use.
Neato.
And it's absolutely great for, again, I use it on Ringmasters and everything like that. It works great on that. So
I'll show you guys the plane I have for this.
Dennis, how much are those timers from Brodak?
Oh, crap. They're around $22, I think, something like that.
Okay.
Myself, I like the FM9 that takes a program box.
Yeah.
Once you got the program box, the FM9 timers are cheaper than the regular ones, really. And you can plug them in and adjust them. Then
yeah, but the programming box is $75. So,
yeah.
So if you got a whole fleet of electric airplanes, it makes a ton of sense. If you got just one or you're just dabbling with it, yeah, maybe you don't have to go there. So
now, the one that you use with the Hornet, can you use that on that one there or not?
The what, Steve?
The one with the pod on it that you can adjust the RPM.
Oh yeah, no, you can't use it on that because the timer is just a constant RPM setting. It relies on the governor built into the ESC. If you have an ESC that doesn't have a governor, then you need to add it in on the outside, either with the Eric Rule Keith Renical system or with the power up timer that Brodak sells from Will Hubin.
That's what airplane is that?
It's I think it was an RC foamy converted into a control line model.
Oh, okay.
It's about the size of a Ringmaster.
Yeah, you can have some.
And I have flown it when he had it set up, and it's pretty good. So I want to get it set up and give it a try anyway. It'll be something I can putter around with. I have to get introduced to this somehow, so I got to start somewhere. What's that?
One thing you're gonna like, Len, is this is about the size that you need for a flight box with electric.
That's hey, even I can carry that.
Yep. I've got extra
So
props.
I'll give it a go.
I've got extra props. I've got the charger in there. I got 2 batteries in there, a few tools, and that's all I need to take when I fly electric.
Oh, that's all I take for IC.
To learn what to do with the batteries, so I don't light myself.
Get yourself an ammo box, a metal ammo box.
I don't light my house on fire.
Yeah, I've always believed or been told that the metal ammo box will seal it off enough.
Yeah, put them in the watering can or something.
Yeah. Besides, you carry an ammo box around, you look badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody messes with you then.
Yeah.
I think I'll store them in my wife's old watering can. That's pretty safe.
Yeah.
And leave it sitting in the middle of the garage floor where it's all concrete.
You know, heat goes up, so you got to watch out for that part.
Well, how far up's it gonna go? It's not a bomb.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I'm asking you guys. I don't run this stuff. How would I know?
You hear about the fires and stuff. We tried to light the damn things on fire and couldn't get them to burn. We shot them with a pellet gun until we threw them in a campfire.
Overcharged one and hit it with a big hammer.
Wow.
So
there've been a couple of they won't allow them
Any of that stuff.
They won't allow them to be transferred by air anymore because a couple of cargo planes burned down when some of the batteries shorted out.
Ion batteries. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What I recall the latest was if you have batteries that have to be installed in whatever device that, whether it's a camera or whatever it is, the batteries have to be actually installed in the device. You can't check them in loose.
now I don't know where my bag went. You got to get one of these bags that are, I don't know, rated for lipos.
Yeah.
Then you just throw them in there.
Okay.
With mine, I bought.
If I put them in there and then stick them in the watering can, it's pretty safe.
Then dig a hole and bury them.
Now that's just to take them on an airplane. I mean, everybody said it was so hard and everything. And I bought the little end plug, put them on, taped them in place, all that kind of stuff. Put them in the bag, and it said, I don't know, lipo safe bag or whatever. We wouldn't go to get on the airplane. They're just like, okay, go on. I had more trouble going through the X-ray machine where you got to hold your hands up.
Yeah.
Because I always wore my glasses up on my head.
Oh, you got to take them off.
And I forget I had them on there because I needed them to see far away, but I can't read with them. So I always keep them on top of my head. Well, they run me through the X-ray machine, and they don't say nothing on it. And it keeps saying that I got some metal in my head. So, And I finally looked at it. I'm like, it's my glasses. And they said, oh, okay, go on. They just push me on through, but I don't know what picture they see, but the picture I could see it inside the machine, I could see the glasses on my head. But I did that twice. But it was, the lipos are the easiest things to get through. through customs on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to carry them on your carry-on bag.
Yeah, well, it's easier than saying, "Oh, what's in that jug? Oh, nitromethane," and you know.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, got no sense of humor about that at all. So
yeah. Well, what was
roughly how much will go ahead?
What was crazy was on the way back from that New Jersey airport, they didn't have enough carry-on space. So the one I guess business and shit like that, they got to put all their stuff up there. But there was no carry-on. So like they took our bags and said, you know, these gotta go in the cargo part. And I'm like, I got LiPo batteries in there and they can't go on the cargo part.
Right.
And then they're looking at me like, well, hell, now what do we do? You know? And so we ended up getting in there and taking them, and I just had to carry the damn bag the whole way back from New Jersey. But yeah, they wouldn't let us bring any carry-on. But yeah, they would have put them in the cargo hole. And I'm like, holy shit, you know? You guys would burn the airplane up in midair, not even thinking.
yeah, well, yeah, and if it burns up in your lap, that's entirely different. So that's safe.
Yeah, you'll know it's on fire. You know, they won't know it down there in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, only thing I can think of, it starts on fire, they go and throw it in the sink or flush it down the toilet or something.
Mm.
No, they open the door with you standing next to it, sucks you right out.
No. Oh well, it's coming up to midnight. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. I'll catch you guys later.
All righty.
Thanks
Hey,
for
thanks for coming
See
in
you later.
later.
Yep, take it easy, Dennis.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dennis.
He's going.
Long gone.
So, Lynn, you're going to the dark side on us?
Good.
Well, not completely, not by any stretch, but try it just for something to try. That's all. It hurts to try.
Going to the dark side.
When he's gonna see how difficult it is to set it up, and,
Hey, people have a,
then he's gonna go, why didn't I do this earlier?
yeah, one time. Yeah, well, if I can figure out how to set it up, I should be okay. And then, you know what, we'll take it from there.
Should be easy.
Good news is I can go out my back door, and I can. The good news is because it's not noisy, I can go out my back door and I can grab a couple of flights, but it's not too windy.
You know,
Yeah.
Norm Whittle here put electric in his Sultan, and within a month he'd sold every one of his PA and never looked back. Went all electric.
God, don't.
Hell, Len, this electric is.
If you saw
One at a time, you guys.
I shut up.
I was saying to Len,
if you guys saw how many airplanes I have, if you guys saw how many airplanes I have in the basement that are gas powered, I would be selling out. I can't. I'm too far.
hey, Len, electric is easy enough, even a Canadian.
I have at least 60 airplanes to go. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
If Steve can do it,
Unbelievable.
then you're gonna be fine.
yeah, that's right. If Steve can do it, I should be okay.
Well, I think in Norm's case, he got enough money for his PAs and his pipes and headers and all that he was able to equip all of his planes with electric. I think. I don't know, but I know he never looked back.
That's all right.
I'll tell you what,
You have to build a whole new airplane.
yeah, if you're going to go electric, make the airplane for electric. Don't try to hack and cut and stick it in.
Yeah, that's the deal.
In an airplane not made for it, you won't like it. That's the first thing that we tried to do. Oh, here's a twister that was made for, or a Banshee made for a
No,
gas motor, and you
no,
can
don't do it. Don't do that.
no, and it flew like hell. It was nose
I got-
shit, and I mean, and that's what I told Dennis. I said,
But
way back
it's,
then, I said, I think this will go over if people start making airplanes for electric, and that's when we got that Vector 40 that was made for electric, and Samantha loved it. Yeah, and that's why Dennis makes all the adaption things where you get rid of everything for glow, you know, and then change it over to electric. I still don't think that anything made for a Fox 35, the really super light fly well. The nose isn't long enough and stuff. It's just you're trying to compact all that stuff in there, and the battery's on an angle and all that. I don't like that. You just got to stick with a Fox 35 or McCoy or something.
Well, Steve, but on the same token, I mean, those planes have I mean, a lot of people are using those safety plugs that are so bulky and big, and they protrude inside the fuselage. They take a lot of space in there.
Yeah.
So now you have to put the battery and run it around this stuff, right? Or I think the best is like to have the safety and the ESC in line, or one in front, one in the back, something like that. So you have the safety plug and the ESC in line and the battery on top of them. But you know, it's like if you build for electric, I mean, just electric is but the difference between electric and IC is you have no vibrations, you have no wear and tear because of vibrations or anything like that. Instead of using 1/16 plywood doublers, you can get away with 1/64 plywood doublers if you want to put any doublers in there. Honestly, you don't even need that. But it's kind of a wear and tear when you put the battery in and out. So that's about the only thing you need to consider there.
Yeah. The thing I argue with that is that basically 98. I would say 98 to 99% of the designs for control line are all based around IC. And you can say you can use these doublers, you can change this and you can change that. But most people are not, into turning around and bashing a design, whatever design it is for CLPA or classic or whatever design you want to take. Most people aren't into like turning around and making the modifications that are required to do electric. It's until people start putting out designs for CLPA or for whatever that's
going to do
designed for electric.
Well, the thing is, Pete, you're right. You're right. But electric has only been electric's only been competitive for what, 10 years? Going 10 years back. And if you look at the top guys, what are they flying? Their designs are not being kitted yet, but they're designed for electric. So if you're
designed for electric.
Yeah, if you don't scratch build or design your own, you build a kit, you're gonna have to make the conversion, because the conversion isn't there yet. Now there are people that are designing electric power, for electric power now, but they're just now coming online.
Like this one here, his conversion.
Exactly.
This thing, everyone who's flown this airplane said it's the best flying ringmaster they ever flown. And he makes different ones for how long your fuselage is. They're simple to do, and it's easy to convert them.
Right.
But you got to have it made for it. Don't try to use the engine bearers and all that kind of stuff and make everything work. But yeah, I mean,
no, it's too hard. Yeah, it's too hard to do that. I agree.
It's so, but that's simple.
If I decided to build an electric airplane that I was going to compete with on any level, I'm going to design or get a design that's for electric. I'm not going to try converting an IC airplane into an electric. It's never going to happen. If I wanted something that's competition worthy, I need an electric airplane, not an IC airplane that's monkeyed around. That's just ridiculous.
Well,
Doesn't make sense to me.
You know, I
Chris
don't know how
Chris
far
Cox in Canada is flying his own design electric. I believe Bruce is flying his own electrics. That
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Scarlet Witch. So you know they're out there, you know, and you know basically you have to scratch build them yet because
Most definitely
they aren't being kitted yet.
Len, here's my
Well, the
deadline
only
for
other
you.
way you can go is yes. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
if you wanna,
that was my that was actually my point. That was my point. Is that you know you want the hobby to expand and draw more people, and if electric is the way to go, ultimately, rather than you know, okay, just I have a ringmaster, and then if you want to fly a ringmaster, the hobby has to turn around and make available, you know, something more substantial than a ringmaster. You have to, you know, I mean, you go years back, and not even years back, but you know everything was IC based. You can go out and get a SIG Acrobat or a SIG Chickmunk or a Peacemaker or a Smoothie or whatever the heck you wanted to get. But of course, you know they were all IC, but nobody's gone to the effort to transpose any of those designs, you know, to update them to electric. And you know, if the hobby doesn't do that, where otherwise you have to turn around and scratch build everything that you want to create for electric, other than just, you know, your profile ringmaster or whatever,
Peter,
this hobby's going to die. That's my point.
That's what Dennis does. He makes conversions for almost all of Brodak's kits. Whether it's a classic or whether he designs and has provided for Brodak to make available the conversion kits, and so you buy the kit, you throw away the mounts and that stuff, and it's got all the stuff there to build it as an electric. But you know, look back in the days when people were flying ignition. You know, even though all you had to do with an ignition engine, most cases, was change it over to a glow plug to fly glow, there was an overlapping time when people were flying both ignitions and glows in the competitions and in sport flying. So there's a overlapping time where new innovations. I mean, look at pipes. You know, pipes took a 5, 6, 7, 8 years before they started becoming really used by most everyone that was serious about competition. So you know, planes were not. You couldn't. You know, you take a classic airplane. It's hard to put a pipe in it because it doesn't have room for it. Pipe planes had to have room in their belly to put the pipe.
Yeah. So,
well, I asked Dennis, and he was working on it to make a adjustable conversion. Because with the modern stuff, you may have a 12-inch, you may have 11 3/4, may have 11 1/2 or whatever. And the back bulkhead, I said, how that interlocks into the plywood, just burn holes every 1/4 inch. So you can take and move that back bulkhead wherever you wanted, glue it in, and then cut off the excess. And that would fit right in for the next, you know, because all the noses on the airplanes are pretty much the same. It's not like, you know, some are run on the, you know, they're above or below or even, or, you know, all that stuff is pretty close for me looking at it. So he was going to do something like that, but I've never heard anything back. But you can make one for a 40, one for a 60.
so So, Len, you can also design your own
Try
plane
it.
in
Yeah, try it.
electric.
Yes,
There's not a whole lot of difference between the
most definitely.
yeah, it's almost identical number wise, right? The same nose length, the same wing area, the
Right.
same distance from the wing to the elevator, whatever, you pick to choose, right? But
Okay.
if you have to pick
Yeah.
a design that's already existing or something like that, look for something that has a thinner foil, like a Junar. Junar has a pretty, or Aries. Those are very thin airfoil planes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Go in that direction. Definitely go in that
Right.
direction if you can. Right. Or you can even make your own Strega. Like if you like the Strega shape so much, make a Strega. But instead of making the wings so thick,
Yeah.
you cut it in half almost. So because electric
Right.
motors are very good at keeping their RPM and not going to charge, they're not going to give you any of the funny looking like runaways that you have in IC motors usually, and you don't need to hold them back, right? With a big wing, because the motor is so powerful, you need a big fat wing to slow it down. It's not the case, right? So you can definitely do
Right.
a thinner wing. As for the fuselage, you can use the fuselage just like you normally do. Instead of putting 1/16 plywood in there, put 1/64, right? And in a nose, you put
Right.
like a rectangular plate over there, and you drill the holes so you can get this motor.
Yeah.
And the plate is
Yeah.
going to have
Mount it in.
the plate is going to have this holes here, and then it's going to have this hole here, so you can come with the motor inside, bam, put the screws in, and then the propeller is going to go in a shaft, and this is the nose of your plane. So that's the only thing.
No,
It's a vertical plate over
Okay.
here between the two sides, with bolts in it. It's no brainer, right, over there. For the battery, my weapon of choice,
Yeah.
probably
And that plate's just glued in with epoxy. Yeah.
yeah. So you can probably go to
Happens.
Home Depot, and Home Depot sells some aluminum channel that's 1/16 thick that looks like this L shape, and you can cut some of the top, some of the bottom to make it like narrower and smaller, and have the battery just drop right in there in between them. So you can put them like this, you can put them like that. If you want to put the battery from the side, if you want to put the battery from the bottom, you can put them like this, right? So the battery is going to go in between them, and you have Velcro around it.
Yeah.
To lock it in. It's as simple as that. I mean, it's not a rocket science. And if you make these channels long enough, then you can put your battery, move it, slide it forward, slide it back, whatever, to get your CG right. It's simple. It's not complicated. So yeah, motors come like this with the 3 wires in them, right? Okay.
Right.
And what you had there in your head is called an ESC, electronic controller. And hang on, I think I had one here.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. So this is an electronic speed controller. On one side you have the 3 wires. On the other side you have the 2 wires. Okay. And you also have some kind of cable with a.
I have one right
like this, right? So long story short, the 3 wires go in the motor, the 2 wires go to the battery.
I have one right here. I have one right here.
Yeah, they're all the same, right? And this
same thing.
And this guy plugs into your timer, right? So this is the signal that tells this guy to run the motor at a certain RPM, and the battery just feeds them both. It's not rocket science, So now if you have the motor here, like this is your front of the plane with the shaft. Maybe you want to put your ESC right behind him like this. Set it up like that, right? And and this can plug into your battery.
Yeah.
Right? This you can make them longer or shorter, whatever you need, right? And probably put your safety plugs somewhere over here.
Yeah.
Over here, because it's kind of bulky and wide, right? So you can even solder the safety. So you have the safety plug here. You can take one of these wires and you basically cut it in half and route it through the safety plug. and this goes to the this lid goes to your timer, whatever timer you want to use. This is as simple as that, and the battery can stay right behind the motor. Another thing that you need to be mindful about is that you need to have some airflow. You need to have airflow that goes over the motor, airflow that goes over the AC and the battery, and it has to get out somewhere, right?
Yeah, this airplane that I have here has that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, that's it. That's electric.
Okay.
You know, once
So
you
for now,
yeah, you're gonna set it one time, and then pretty much you're gonna forget it after that. You just charge batteries, put batteries, and go fly. Simple as that.
set it.
Yep. Pretty much set it and forget it. Yeah.
Well,
And just make sure you bring a
figure
camera
out what I
need
need
to
to
buy
buy
first. Just make sure you bring a camera out there with your lens so you got a foamy. If you don't have enough cooling space for it, we wanna see the film of it starting on fire and smoking as it goes around. And
Len, don't believe him. Most of the time when people start stuff like that is because they use a teeny beeny tiny motor on a for what they need.
I'm not looking.
Heat up the motor, they're gonna heat up the ESC, they're gonna heat up the battery. No question about it. If the motor is too small, everything is gonna run hot. If the motor is big, everything is gonna run cool.
Yeah, I don't think this is
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
now you got a rear mount motor on there, and it's gonna set out and get all the air it needs.
Yes.
It's not even cowled in.
Yes. No issue.
Yeah, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
No, there's no cowl, so it should be no.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just something to try. Have to start somewhere.
Yeah. I think Naomi is gonna love that stuff. Simply because it's so
I'm very new to it. That's what I'm afraid of.
yeah, she's gonna love it. I mean, because it's so
Yeah.
simple for her, she can do it herself and whatever, then she can go fly without.
Bye.
It'll be so simple, she won't have to bring you along. She'll love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
She can leave your ass alone. Just say, Len, cook dinner. I'm going flying.
Yeah.
You know,
she's done.
on wash day,
She's done that a couple of.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes. On wash day,
A
you
couple
won't have to take your clothes like this over to the washing machine by themselves.
Oh no.
All that.
Throw them with the prop.
Yeah. So, but so Len is very easy to adjust. I mean, you want to fly a little bit faster, you just dial it up a little bit, and he's gonna fly a little bit faster. You're gonna fly it a little bit, and you don't have 100. You don't need 100 prop.
Yeah,
Just put one prop. You put one prop on a plane, and that's it. I mean, in a tune pipe, you have to have like your 10, 15 props by the time you find the right one for the conditions, whatever. In electric, you pull.
Then you need a different one on a different day.
Exactly. In electric, you just get a little.
Give it a try. Don't worry. I'll give it an honest try. What I'm going to do the next year is I'm going to give it an honest shot. And we'll see what I come up with.
Yeah. You coming to the Nats next year?
Give it an honest try.
Are you coming to the Nationals next year?
Depends on whether I can get out of the country.
Ah, I see.
He's being held captive.
If I'm King of Canada, yes.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah.
You guys, let me end the stream. We can continue on.
COVID, right? Yeah. Yeah, I can't go anywhere. All stuck, so we're waiting to see.
I think if they have a vaccine already, maybe we shouldn't talk about that now. But oh well.
Let me end the stream, you guys. Okay.
The Nats are in June. Okay.
All righty. So, anyways, we've had a really good show. I think at the height we had about 19 people. We've been tracking about 19 people in the audience every week, and I'd like to grow that. So, in order to do that, I want you guys to like and share and subscribe to the videos. That helps the channel grow. Just a real brief recap. Excuse me. Tom Rammel, he showed us his flying airplane on the ice, which was pretty cool. And then John Miller, he talked about making a canopy with a soda bottle, with a hot gun, a heat gun. And then we talked about a little bit about the moments, a little bit. And then Tryon did a excellent demonstration on molding 2 sheets of balsa. And we're looking forward to Monday seeing it being unwrapped and what we have from there. And then we went on to some electric talk and stuff like that. We had Charlie and T-Bone, Tom Luciano, Greg Nielsen, and Top Brent Williams in the chat box. So we had a good show tonight. So come on back Monday. Hopefully you can have a chance to go do something in your shop or go fly and come back and share with us what you did. And until then, I'll see you guys then. So